Okay, so you've finished your fantastic film. You've probably spent hours on the edit, and you've added some fantastic titles and backing tracks. Now for the easy bit, right? Add the narration. Simple, yeah? Well, let's find out.
So you've got your mic set up, you've got your script ready, and you're ready to go. What can possibly go wrong? No amount of soundproofing is going to prevent these kinds of uncontrollable noises from completely ruining your talkover recordings, unless you're in a dedicated studio, of course. But I suppose it's how desperate you really are.
And what type of mics are we going to need? And what type of mics are we going to need? That's another good question.
Your tea's ready!
So obviously a humorous but exaggerated look at how you could possibly try to enclose yourself to isolate unwanted background noise when you're doing a recording. None of which I think you'll agree is very practical. I know some of you have tried it. I know I have. Anyway, so what to do basically. Yeah, I know there's all sorts of stuff that you can buy to achieve good sound isolation, but I know that all this stuff can be quite expensive. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how effective they are really. So which brings me down to the point of what this video is all about. I'm going to attempt to make my own. Now the reason I'm going to share this with you, because when you, I know from one minute nobody's probably ever going to attempt this, but it's hopefully it's not going to be as difficult as you might think. It's pretty basic stuff really. I don't know if you can see that I made a sketch. So basically it's just a, like a, I don't know, a tea box turned on its side with 4 legs on it, but mine's not a tea box. It's made out of marine 600 meter square marine ply, fitted out with this audio tiles, I suppose, sound absorbing foam tiles, and with some little caveats that I'm going to show you later on about the electrics and all that. And later on I shall be showing you some of the equipment that I'm going to be using, but I'm going to explain all this later on as I go, so I won't waffle on about it too much because I'll be waffling on about it later on. So yes, just sit back, relax, and hope you enjoy the video on how to make a sound booth.
The main materials we're going to need are 5 sheets of 8mm thick plywood cut into 600 by 600mm sections, 4 legs, they don't have to be anything too fancy, a pack of angle brackets and some corner brackets, and finally a pack of 30cm square foam acoustic tiles. along with some spray adhesive and a sharp Stanley knife. Okay, so on the base, mark out an 8mm wide line and position the corner joining plate behind the line and screw into position. Do this for the base and top panels. Now simply align the remaining 4 panels to the position corner brackets and fit the L brackets for added strength.
Okay, so we've put on our 4 corner support brackets, 4 on the bottom and another 4 on the top. That's going to support the sides. We're ready to put the legs on now. So we turn it over. I've already marked out for the legs. The legs will be going here. Obviously, this isn't going to be that accurate. Just to offer up the legs to the edge of the board, basically. So there we go, we got our legs fitted. We've got the support plates bottom and top fitted, and now we're ready to assemble the side panels, so I'll show you how to do that next. So there we have it. We've got the basics of it now. We've got the legs on, obviously. We've got the sides on. We've got these metal joining pieces to make it nice and rigid. And we're nearly there, really. All we have to do now, we have to put on the white vinyl sheeting and some edging strips, make it look a bit nice. And then we have to fill in the acoustic foam tiles, basically. We'll put them in. We're going to put a little hole so we can put an electrical extension in there, basically. If you're using obviously any recording equipment, mics that run off the mains, we want it inside and not trailing out of the front here. Okay, I think I'm ready to fit the sound absorbing foam tiles. Hopefully this is fairly straightforward. I've been assured that this spray adhesive is the best thing to use for these tiles, and simply what you do is, this is just an example, obviously, you just spray the glue on the plywood and then spray onto the foam tile. Wait 3 minutes, which is the important part apparently, and then when it feels tacky to almost dry, carefully fit into position and hope this doesn't happen. Gotta wait for 3 minutes now.
Acoustic panels come in various shapes, sizes, thicknesses and materials to suit different acoustic needs. These are made of specialised types of cellular polyurethane foam, which is an ideal material for soundproofing. It works by absorbing sound waves which we hear as noise, and the acoustic foam can help to improve overall sound quality in your room, or in our case, this sound booth.
Okay, so I've got this vinyl roll. I'm going to just offer it up, cut it to width, cut it to the length. It isn't going to be that accurate because I'm going to have some beading on each corner, and basically peel it back. It's self-adhesive. Yeah, I've heard that before, and it hasn't worked very well, but here we go. We're going to give it a try and stick it down and see what it looks like. So there we go. One audio booth finished and ready to go. I've fitted all the audio acoustic tiles. I'll put the electrical socket in for some power. Finished it all off. Got it looking fairly nice. And now I'm going to move it. Obviously, it's not going to be staying here. But for the logistics of the room, it's going to be in the opposite corner where it is now. So it's not going to be going on the desk here where the computer is. I don't want a great big lump like this on the desk. So it's going to be in the opposite corner. So what I'll do is I'll fit it all out with the mic, the audio recorder. All the audio recorders are going to be obviously going into an audio recorder, but the type I'm going to be using will have an SD card. So obviously, normally you guys, you would just plug it straight into your computer. Well, I don't want leads going across the room, so it's going to be recorded via an SD card. And then I'll show you later what type of equipment I am going to be using, what sort of mics I'm going to be using, why I'm using them, and the type of audio recorder I'm going to be using. And later on I'll do a few comparisons. So I'll make a few recordings in the sound booth, and then with the exact dialogue, I shall record them outside the sound booth like I used to do, and hopefully we can hear what the difference is, and hopefully, you know, the ones that have been done in the audio booth will sound a lot better. That's the plan. So we'll crack on with that.
There isn't a right way or a wrong way to record your voice, but admittedly, there are some better ways than others. A sound booth aims to isolate the background noise in your room and hopefully enhances your voice to achieve that crisp, pure, mellow tone. Well, that's the aim anyway. Okay, so I'm going to be using this Shure SM7B. It's a dynamic microphone and it's a favourite with vocalists and podcasters alike for its authentic vocal reproduction and dependable sound quality. At the rear, there's a couple of switches that control bass roll-off and presence boost. Most microphones used for voiceover recordings fall into two main categories: dynamic mics like this one, or condenser mics. Deciding which one to use is very subjective, and it's entirely up to the user, as both types of mics have their own unique capabilities. If there is a downside to the SM7B, then it would be that it's quite gain hungry. So I'm going to add this inline mic booster so I can get the best out of the mic. Without this, the output would only be around the -20 decibel mark, which is a bit on the quiet side, whereas this booster will crank it up to the -12 to -6 decibel sweet spot, and it's where I want to be, still leaving a bit of headroom for any adjustment in post. I'll be recording to this Tascam DR40X audio recorder. It has its own built-in stereo mics, which to be honest I've never actually tried out, as I'm going to be connecting the mic using the XLR inputs. I'll quickly run through the setup for you. When we switch it on, it asks me, do I require phantom power? So as we have the mic booster fitted, we press enter. On setting the format, I want the best setting possible, so that definitely won't be MP3, as I'll be setting the uncompressed wave format at 24 bitrate. Next, there's a load of stuff I haven't got a clue about, and finally we'll set the gain level to -12 decibels. This can be also tweaked manually if required. So you've seen how I've constructed the sound booth. You've seen some of the gear that I intend to use, and now it's down to the nitty gritty. Has it all been worthwhile? Well, I hope so. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a few comparison tests, and I've taken all the gear out of that sound booth and I put it on the bench where I would normally do a voiceover, and we'll compare it with the ambience of the room. This room is not brilliant for acoustics, so I'll do a little talk on here, and then I'll do exactly the same in the sound booth, so we can hopefully hear the difference in quality. A vocal booth is a sound insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. So I'll do exactly the same test now. I'll put all this stuff back into the sound booth, and I'll do exactly the same so we can hear the difference. I know what you're probably thinking, why are you bothering putting it into a Tascam? Well, you're right. Normally, if I wasn't putting it in the sound booth, I would plug the mic straight into the computer, and that's obviously the easiest way. But like I said earlier, I don't want leads going across the room, and I don't want to do this Bluetooth. I prefer to put it into the Tascam via an SD card and then plug it into the computer. So let's see what the comparisons sound like. Right, I've put the mic and the recorder back into the sound booth, and it'll be the exact same piece of text again, so we'll do the comparison. A vocal booth is a sound insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. A vocal booth is a sound insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. A vocal booth is a sound-insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference.
So what did you think? Did you think they both sounded exactly the same? Or did you think that the second one that was recorded in the sound booth sounded a lot more superior than the one that was sounded in the room here? I thought that the one that was recorded in the sound booth was a lot more clearer, mellow, sounded more professional than the first one, but it's all very subjective. Anyway, I'd like to do a final comparison. The recordings that we just heard were with this Shure microphone, which is a dynamic mic, and it may not be a dynamic mic, may not be what you guys would use as your first choice. You're more likely to use, I think, a condenser mic like this one. I just want to show you that any mic can be used in a sound booth, obviously, but I'd just like to do a comparison with using this mic in exactly the same way I've just done with the dynamic mic. So I'll do a quick test using the same text on the desk here, and then I'll do exactly the same as what I did before. I'll do exactly the same test in the sound booth, but using a microphone that is more common, in my opinion, to all of us.
A vocal booth is a sound-insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. A vocal booth is a sound-insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. A vocal booth is a sound-insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference. A vocal booth is a sound-insulated room or enclosure designed for recording vocals in a controlled environment, free from unwanted noise or interference.
So that's it. Well, did you hear any major differences in the audio with the ones that I recorded in the sound booth as opposed to the ones that I recorded in the room here? Or did you hear any difference at all? Or is that thing going to be just stuck in the corner of my room gaining dust? Just to let you know, all the recordings that I made were genuine that you heard. What I did is I recorded them all to the Tascam, to the recorder, via the SD card. Like I said, then I put them into the computer, and then I synced the recordings to what I was saying on the video. So, like I say, I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Maybe found it a bit interesting. Sorry it went on a bit long, but I thought I had to try to get everything in that I wanted to say, basically. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.